Okay, we're doing pages 141, 142 of volume 1. We are doing problems. Actually, I said that wrong. We are doing pages 139 and 140. 139 and 140. We're doing problems 19 through 25. So I have problem number 19 set up. It's 684 times 15. So I'm just going to get started. Again, we start with our 5 and our 1s column. So we're going to take our 5 times the 4, then our 5 times the 8, and then our 5 times the 6. So 5 times 4 is 20. So we're going to write down our 0. We're going to regroup our 2. Second is 5 times 8. 5 times 8 is 40, but we have to add our 2. So 42. 40 plus 2 is 42. So I'm going to write down my 2, regroup my 4. I'm going to have to add that 4 here in a second. 5 times 6 is 30. 30 plus 4 is 34. So that was the last number. So I'm just going to write down my 34, no regroups there. So I am finished multiplying by my 5. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and get rid of my regroups up here because I'm finished with it. And then I'm just going to change colors to make it easier to see. But I'm going to hop over to my 1. Now my 1 is in my tens column. So my first answer has to be in the tens column. So I can either put a 0 or an X in the 1s column because that will force me to start the tens column. So this time I'm going to take my 1 times 4, my 1 times 8, and my 1 times 6. Well, this one's pretty easy. So 1 times 4 is 4, 1 times 8 is 8, 1 times 6 is 6. And so that is a 6. And so I'm just going to add these up because I'm finished with my 1 now. I have both of my partial products because I only have 2 digits. And so I'm ready to add. 0 plus 0 is 0. 4 plus 2 is 6. 8 plus 4 is 12. I'm going to regroup it. 6 plus 3 is 9. Plus 1 is 10. So my answer is 10,260. For number 20, we're going to start with, the problem is 650 times 22. We're going to start with the 2 in the 1s column. So again, I'm going to take 2 times 0, 2 times 5, and then finally 2 times 6. 2 times 0 is 0. 2 times 5 is 10. I'm going to regroup my 1. 2 times 6 is 12. Plus 1 is 13. So my partial product for the first one is 1,300. Now I'm going to jump over to the second 2. Again, it's in the tens column, so my first answer has to be in the tens column. So I'm going to just put a placeholder or a 0 something in the 1s column so I don't put it in there. Now again, I'm dealing with a 2, so I know my answer is going to be 1,300, but this time, since I'm starting in the tens column, it's really going to be 13,000. But if you didn't believe me, we can take our 2 times a 0, our 2 times our 5, and our 2 times a 6. I'm going to get rid of that regroup. 2 times 0 is 0. 2 times 5 is 10. Regroup my 1. 2 times 6 is 12. Plus 1 is 13. And look at that, it is still 13,000. So now we add 0 and 0, 0 and 0, 3 and 0. 3 and 1 is 4 and 1. So our answer is 14,300. Next question. We have 2,525 times 37. Again, I'm going to start with my 7, and I'm going to multiply it by 4 numbers this time. I'll start with my 5, then my 2, then my 5, and then way down here, my 2. So 7 times 5 is 35. Regroup my 3. 7 times 2 is 14, plus 3 is 17. Regroup my 1. 7 times 5 is 35, plus 1 is 36. Regroup my 3. 7 times 2 is 14, plus 3 is 17. So that is my first partial product for the 7. I am finished with the 7. I am going to mark out my regroups up here because I don't want to use them on my 3. For my 3, again, this one's in the tens column. My first answer has to be in the tens column. So I'm going to put a 0 or an X or something in the 1s column so I don't use it. And again, I'm going to do my 3 times 5, my 3 times 2, my 3 times 5, and then finally my 3 times 2. So 3 times 5 is 15. I'm going to regroup my 1. 3 times 2 is 6, plus 1 is 7. 3 times 5 is 15. Regroup my 1. 3 times 2 is 6, plus 1 is 7. So this is my second partial product. And now I just add. 5 plus 0 is 5. 7 plus 5 is 12. Regroup my 1. 1 plus 6 is 7. Plus 7 is 14. Regroup my 1. 1 plus 7 is 8. 8 plus 5 is 13. Regroup my 1. 1 plus 1 is 2. 2 plus 7 is 9. So I get an answer of 93,425. Problem 22, we have 615 times 1. I'm going to start with my 1. 1 times 5 is 5. 1 times 1 is 1. 1 times 6 is 6. That was a tough one. I'm going to jump over here to my tens column, which means my first answer is in the tens column. So I'm going to add my placeholder. 4 times 5 is 20. Regroup my 2. 4 times 1 is 4, plus 2 is 6. And 4 times 6 is 24. Those are my two partial products. I'm going to add them together. 5 and 0, 1 and 0, 6 and 6 is 12. Regroup my 1. 1 and 4 is 5 and 2. So I get 25,215. On question number 23, it says Jason frequently travels for work. This year he plans to make 15 trips to Chicago. What is the total cost of the airfare? Write an equation that represents the problem. All right, so Chicago to Chicago is $489 for a round trip. So we're going to take $489 for one trip, and we're going to take it times 15, and that is going to equal the cost for Chicago. There's my equation. $489 times 15 equals the cost. So now we just have to solve it. So again, I'm going to write my 489 times my 15, and I'm going to multiply as normal. 5 times 9 is 45. Regroup my 4. 8 times 5 is 40. Plus 4 is 44. Regroup my 4. 5 times 4 is 20. Plus 4 is 24. I'm shifting over to my 1. So I need to shift over to my tens column here. So I'm going to put in my placeholder. 1 times 9 is 9. 1 times 8 is 8. 1 times 4 is 4. So we're going to add this up. 5 plus 0 is 5. 9 plus 4 is 13. Regroup my 1. 1 plus 4 is 5. 5 plus 8 is 13. Regroup my 1. 1 plus 2 is 3. Plus 4 is 7. Put my dollar sign on it because it's money. And they're going to spend $7,335 to go to and from Chicago 15 times because it was round trip. Number 24, which costs more, 15 trips to Boston or 11 trips to New York? All right, well, we have to solve it. One trip to Boston is $178. One trip to New York is $225. So we have to multiply 178 times 15 to see how much it costs to go to Boston 15 times. So 5 times 8 is 40. Regroup my 4. 7 times 5 is 35. Plus 4 is 39. Regroup my 3. 5 times 1 is 5. Plus 3 is 8. Put in your placeholder. Get rid of your regroups. 1 times 8 is 8. 1 times 7 is 7. 1 times 1 is 1. Add them up. Two partial products. Zeros. 9 and 8 is 17. Regroup my 1. 1 plus 8 is 9. 9 plus 7 is 16. Regroup my 1. 1 plus 1 is 2. So the trips to Boston is 15 trips to Boston is $2,670. Now we have to do New York. New York, we have $225, and we're doing 11 trips. I love multiplying by ones. 1 times 225, well, that'd be 1 times 5, 1 times 2, 1 times 2. Put in your placeholder. Now we're multiplying by 1 from the tens column. 1 times 5, 1 times 2, 1 times 2. Add them up. 5, 2 and 5 is 7, 2 and 2 is 4, and a 2. So it costs $2,475 to go to 11 trips to New York. So which costs more? 15 trips to Boston cost more because 2,670 is greater than 2,475. And that's my explanation. 2,670 is greater than 2,475. That's Math Explained 101. Last one. A cook in a restaurant's planning her food order. She expects to use 115 pounds of potatoes each day for 12 days. How many pounds of potatoes will she order? All right, so we're getting 115 pounds for one day, and we need 12 days of them. Sounds like multiplication to me. So we're going to take 115 pounds times 12. 2 times 5 is 10. Regroup your 1. 2 times 1 is 2, plus 1 is 3. 2 times 1 is 2. We're shifting over to the tens column. So I'm going to put in my placeholder. I love multiplying by ones. 1 times 5, 1 times 1, 1 times 1. Add them up. 0 and 0, 3 and 5, 2 and 1, 1. So we get 1,380 pounds of potatoes. That's it for today.